trying to enjoy our full body, but it is primarily upper body focused. So whenever you get into the zone, gonna stand up nice and long and tall. So, of course, your feet comfortable width underneath you, spreading your weight appropriately across your feet. So if you have a tendency to tip forward, lean back, hang out just on one foot, we're centered now. And then working up from the feet, making sure that your knees aren't locked out. Got, a comfortable stance. My pelvis isn't tucked way under. I don't have a super big arch in my lower back. Spine is long and tall. So like somebody has one of my hairs on my head and they're pulling me straight up. My shoulders are down. So all that just to get us pumped up for some arm circles, arms straight out to the side, drop those shoulders a little bit more, reaching away from my center line, and then making mini circles. If you've got limited space, maybe you do fists, maybe you bend at the elbows. That works. We're working with what we've got, whatever that is today. And we're appreciating that we're taking this time because any is better than none. So even if you're thinking, oh, this isn't as good as it could be if my elbows are bent rather than straight out to the sides, no. All you get is praise for showing up and doing the thing. Go ahead and reverse the direction of your circles and just take a moment to make sure that your circles are centered on your shoulder. So I have just as much of that circle behind my shoulder as I do in front, just as much above as I do below. I'm keeping it symmetrical here today. Beautiful. By now, your arms might be getting a little bit tired. You might be feeling it in your shoulders, maybe even into your neck. If you want to, you can always drop your hands down and take a mini break. But sometimes if you're feeling it into your neck, it really helps to engage your lats, the muscle right a little bit behind your armpit and slightly down here. Engage those muscles, pull your shoulders down, and then there's a reflex called reciprocal inhibition that indicates to your body that you should stop using your traps as much. So those are opposing muscles, and that's why it works that way. It can take a little bit of practice. It's not a perfect reflex that will just automatically shut off the traps, but it can help. Beautiful. Okay. If you haven't already taken a little moment for yourself, relax those arms. You should be nice and warm here. And now I'm just going to take my right arm and I'm going to make the biggest circle that I can with my hand around my shoulder. I'm going to have to come into a funny position here because I'm working out of a corner today. But you can see I'm making my circle so big, and I could be reaching down my leg here as well. I'm reaching forward, I'm reaching over, I'm reaching back a little bit, all the way around. I'm getting some rotation, I'm getting a lateral bend for my spine here. Beautiful. And I'm getting a little bit more movement through my shoulders, so I can even feel it into my pec as I'm reaching back, and I can feel it down my armpit through my side as I'm reaching over. So really do that big circle, and then when you get a chance, we're going to reverse direction. And as you're doing this, think about exploring the corners of the circle, exploring how deep a range of motion feels good to your body. Lovely. Let's go ahead and do the other side. And I'm doing my left arm now. Beautiful. I can also think about what parts of my back are feeling good as I'm doing this. Do I feel like some parts of my back are not feeling so nice? What about my neck? I'm always looking for that feedback because once I have that feedback and I've absorbed it reverse direction, if you haven't already, um, then I'm able to be considerate of my body and respectful and take care of myself. So one last big circle here. Lovely. Now we're going to do a little bit of marching. So when I'm marching, I tend to do it slow. If you're super energetic, you like to go fast person, you could do this like a high knees exercise where you're running essentially in place. But I tend to do this one nice and slow. I'm going to bring one leg up. If balance is hard, you can always hold on to something. Bring my right knee up to start off with, draw my belly button in tighter, And then keep it in nice and tight as I put my right foot down. And then come up with my left leg here. Pause at the top, pull my belly button in a little bit tighter, and go down. It's a deep core engagement exercise when I do this one. And then another nice thing that's just helpful to do is wherever you're able to get on the very first time, either visually keep track of that or put a hand there. If you need to hold on to something, one hand can work. And then I'm sort of keeping my body honest. I'm knowing how high I can go, and we're gonna hit the hands every single time. Keep going up to that height. Because otherwise, if you don't have a frame of reference, sometimes you don't even notice yourself getting tired. What you notice is that the exercise is just going on for a while. But what's happening is your knees going up a little bit less high every time. Before you know it, you're doing some sort of a baby march. It's not the same as drawing your knee up as high as you possibly can, pausing and being super intentional. One more on each side. Lovely. And now we're going to just kick our leg out back behind us. So just starting with my left leg here and the right leg. Now this one I can also do really nice and slowly. Pause, check in with my core, draw my core in, make sure I'm standing nice and long and tall, and then go back, do the other side. Lovely. I also like to pause at the top. So right now my right leg is going up. See if I can squeeze higher and then put it down. So that pause, squeeze, and then relax is really great for maximizing time under tension, which is great for muscle building. It's also great for making sure that you're being really intentional. You can also do this with a bent knee. Don't know if you can see it super well here, but I could start with my left leg bent and then bring my foot up as high as I can and then put it back down. Changes the engagement just a little bit. Nice. One more on each side. Beautiful. All right. So now we're just going to do some deep, feel good stretching, starting off with a little twist. So I'm going to get into my twist a little bit slowly by just twisting a little bit to the right and back to center, and a little bit to the left and back to center. Sort of like a courtesy call for my body. Hey, we're gonna twist a little bit here today. How you feeling? And then each time I go into that twist, I could try and get into it a little bit more, but I'm not gonna just dive in with super deep twists and using my hands to help me into that stretch. I'm gonna use my own muscles, make sure I know how I'm feeling today. Sometimes our bodies just wake up cranky. And then whenever I'm feeling good about it, I've checked in with my body, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna do a longer stretch to the side. I'll start off coming to the right. Hip bones are facing the same direction as my toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, twist a little bit more. And now, if you would like to, you could put your hands on something, even if it's your own hip bones, and you can help yourself into the stretch just a little bit more, just as long as it feels good. As you're breathing, just check in that you're breathing really deeply, exhaling completely. And whenever you're ready, come back to center and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist to the left now. Check in with those hip bones. They are sneaky. They do want to just rotate with the rest of your body. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist a little bit more. And now, if it would feel good for you, you can help yourself into the twist a little bit more using your hands. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, come back to center and just check in with your body. See if there's any little wiggle that would feel good. Maybe you want to bend forward. Maybe you need to stretch back. But think about the feedback that your body is giving you right now and what would make you feel just 1% better. Sometimes a little bit of experimentation is good for that. Of like, oh, how does it feel if I bend forward? How does it feel if I lean back or just wiggle, just shake it out? So the next thing we're going to do is really focus on that side bend and doing it intentionally. So I'm going to first do a little ladder climb. So I'm reaching up with my right hand and I'm reaching up so high. I'm not here. I'm all the way here. So that's the really high shelf and there's a blade up there that I really want. But I'm getting a little bit of a lateral bend through my spine when I reach up super high. And alternating here. Hopefully you can see what I'm talking about, that there is a little bit of movement happening here. And then if you would like a little bit more intensity, you can have your hand on your hip bone. I'm going to start off with left hand on hip bone and my right arm coming up and over. Now here, I want to be between two imaginary planes of glass, reaching up and over. I don't want that right shoulder to twist forward as I'm trying to bend over to the side. I also might not want to stay bent over too long. I might want to come in and out of it, depending on how my core strength is and how this feels on my body. If you are comfortable staying in the side bend for a full breath, you can come into this stretch, breathe really deeply in so you can feel those ribs separate, and then exhale and come on up. Let's check out the other side. So now my left arm is coming up, and I'm just working in and out of the stretch. Checking in to make sure I'm between those two panes of glass. And as I'm tipping over to the side, I'm also checking in that I'm not flopping down. I'm leaning over to the side, sort of like I'm going up and over something, almost like there's an imaginary fireball here that I'd rather not touch. And I'm going up and over the fireball. Nice. So if you did the deep breath on the other side, take a moment to do that now, thinking about expanding the space between the ribs here. Lovely. Take a few shoulder rolls here. Any little wiggle that helps work out the kinks. And now we're just going to take a few deep breaths to help us transition back into our day. So as you're breathing, think about working in some big movements, maybe inhaling your hands back behind you. And then exhaling them forward. This is a stretch that I've been just loving lately, is exhaling this way once in a while. Maybe inhaling your arms up over your head and getting in a little morning stretch. And then exhaling them down. You could reach for your toes here or do anything else that feels good for you. And one last inhale. Any variety that you like. Anything that makes you feel big and full of energy. And then one last really complete exhale where you're just letting it all go, all the things. And that's your movement break for today. Hope you had a nice time. I hope you feel energized, and I hope you have a great afternoon. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.